Welcome to another edition of the Expose and Expand podcast show. I'm your man with the plan, Jeremy Mathis.
I'm your other host, Joshua Mathis. And again, welcome to the Expose and Expand show, where we expose you to the things, the ideas, the strategies, the struggles, the failures, the people, and the experiences that have gotten us from zero to millions. So how you feeling?
I'm feeling real good today, boy.
You looking good too. Finally,
hey,
finally.
Put it on. Put it on. No, man, I had to come. I had to dress for the occasion. Today's a big episode because it's talking about something that we are still figuring it out. We still trying to learn it. We still going through it.
Yeah.
And that's business partnerships.
Yeah.
For us, for the longest, that's something I think that's been it's been crippling to our success. We had to learn how to be partners because we knew how to be brothers. We learned how to be brothers just because we learned it. It was over time. It's the same thing with business partnership. It happens over time, and I think we are learning. I don't think we've learned how to be great partners, but we are constantly learning on how to be better business partners. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited about today.
I am too, man. I remember the time when we almost broke up as partners.
Yeah.
I was about to beat you, my boy.
I don't know about all that.
Beat you, my boy.
I like myself now.
Y'all see my face? Well, I lost his mind. But I think about the time where we almost broke up as partners.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this episode because we can, show people what we've done in the past and what has gotten us to where we are. But the time when we almost broke up as partners is when, remember, I had a family before you.
Yeah.
I had a wife, I had Ava, we had Malia, we had kids, and you was just single out here mingling, doing your little dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had no responsibilities.
Doing your own thing. So I had responsibilities and you didn't have responsibilities.
Yeah.
And for me, because I had responsibilities, I needed to make more money.
Yeah.
At that point, we had just started making a little bit of money in real estate investing. It was some consistency with our monthly income. But again, I had a family. I had a wife. I had 2 kids that I had to support. And what we was making at the time was not gonna get me. Was not gonna do the job. It wasn't gonna get me to where I was trying to get to. Yeah. And we went through a lot of ups and downs during that struggle. And because we didn't have an honest conversation with each other at that time, our business struggled because of that.
But you didn't tell people why we had the issues with the business partnership. You kind of just touched on it. You glossed over it. I want you to go deep into it, which is, now as a matter of fact, I'll do it. You, we were looking to make, Josh wanted to make more money. We were making a certain amount, and I'm single, like you said. For me, the big issue came when it was time for us to make more money. He wanted to make more money. I wanted to continue to reinvest the money back into the business, and we had a clash. And it was a clash because you wanted to take out more money. And I'm like, no, keep this money in the company. We can invest, buy more properties, build out a team, just do more. And it was a difference of visions. Yeah. So for me, I want us to go a little bit deeper so people understand when we say we almost broke up, what does that mean? Yeah. We almost broke up because you wanted more money. I'm like, no. And it got to a point where we really considered, like, you know what, we don't know if this partnership is what we want to do.
I don't think it was a difference of visions. I think it was just difference of situations.
Yeah.
It's difference of situations. And that's the first point I want to touch on is when you're in a partnership with somebody, you got to understand everything about them.
Yeah.
Right? So you understood everything about me. You understood it, but at the same time, you really didn't understand it because you didn't have a family. Yeah. You didn't have nobody to support but yourself. Yeah. So you didn't understand my struggle. You didn't understand the things that I was going through. Yeah. And like you said, it caused a big clashing to the point where several times we was about to say, like,
you said I understood. I had no understanding. I had zero understanding of what you was going through at that time of your life. You had a wife and kids. I think I had just started talking to Ash, and we wasn't even that serious. And here you are. Your whole life is completely different than mine. So your needs are completely different than mine. Your wants are completely different than mine. And for us, we almost broke up because we had never had an honest conversation about really that. But also, we didn't have operating agreement in place about how do we even determine what our salaries are. Who has the final say? What does that even look like? Yep. So for me, I want to make it clear. I didn't understand it. And for me, I want to apologize because I think during that time, I know during that time, I was just so focused on what I wanted, which was for this company to grow. What I thought the company needed was more money. We needed to keep the money in. Why are we taking out all this money? I'm good. You should be able to do. You should be able to live off what I'm living off of. Not realizing, ding dong, that boy situation completely different. That boy got 3 mouths to feed. I got one, which is my own. Something completely different.
We had 3 with 1 on the way.
Yeah.
Because Ava was about to be born. So completely different situation that we was in. So one, I appreciate the apology, but I think we need to really, I want to go deep on this episode and really help people understand what has gotten us to where we are today. Because people see us and be like, man, they got it all figured out. They have a great partnership. They don't know I was about to beat you last week, my boy. Like, really beat him last week.
For this, again, I was excited about this when we put this on the agenda because it's a topic where I don't think we were really that exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
This was not something that we were exposed to. This is something that we really had to truly figure out ourselves.
Yeah. We
had to go through these hurdles. We had to talk to mentors. We had to talk to advisors. We had to talk to attorneys.
Yep.
About this, because it was something that we had no understanding of. We brothers. The same way we operate as brothers, we operate as business partners.
It was so wrong.
Like, it was so wrong, but you think about how far we had to come. So this episode, I know it's going to be a breakthrough for people because I want us to dive very, very deep into the inner workings of our business partnership, the struggles we've had, things we've had to overcome, how we make the partnership work, and everything about partnership so people can know what the real is behind this Mathis Twins partnership.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm excited about this, man. Like, to really dive deep because it shows the growth and maturity that you and I have grown through as people.
Yeah.
Because when we first started in our partnership, it was ego.
Yeah.
It was never vision.
All
it was ego.
Yeah.
It was so much ego where this is the way we're going to do it. This is the way we're going to do it. This is the way we're going to paint the house. And ego got in the way of us being successful from a monetary standpoint.
Yeah.
Growing the business.
Yeah.
It was all ego because things that should have taken 30 minutes to make a decision on took 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 months sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I wanted this way. I wanted that way. And for us, once we got old enough or we got mature enough, because it's not even about the age, it's once we got mature and to the point and we got exposed to healthy partnerships, one of our mentors taught us, and he told us, guys, it's not about who has the best idea.
No,
it's about, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about who has the best idea that's in alignment with vision that y'all have set for this business.
That was a huge struggle. That was struggle number one that we had to overcome. Because at the end of the day, not only are we men, most men got big egos, we brothers.
Yeah.
So that made the ego even bigger, and I think it made both of our egos even bigger that I want this done. Not even thinking about what's best for the business, just thinking about who's the most macho, who has the biggest ego.
Yeah.
And for us, once we started to realize, man, that's really drowning, that's really toxic, that's really stunning our growth. We need to do something different. And it came to a point where, again, we almost that was a huge breaking point when we almost said, you know what, forget this partnership thing, we're gonna go out and do our own thing. Once we started to say, you know what, the best idea wins, that's when I believe things began to get better. But I also think that that just didn't happen overnight, because there was times where I do think on both of our part, at some points it was about the business, the best ideas went, but at certain points as we started to get more money coming in, as we started to do more things, it's still at certain points was less about the best idea and who has the biggest chest, who has the biggest ego.
Yeah.
So I think now we're to a point where we've graduated.
Yeah.
Where we like, man, forget all this. I need this check.
Yeah.
What idea is finna get me to this check?
Yeah.
The fastest, the best, and the most efficient way.
Yeah.
And that's just all come with growth.
But if we like, let's be really honest. Before we started this show, me and you had a big disagreement about the podcast on what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. I said this is one way, you said it was another. But then we said, you know what is the best idea?
Yeah.
Right? We took two minutes apart, we came back and we had an honest conversation, and you was like, oh, we could do it this way. I'm like, oh, we could do it this way. And we brainstormed, and then we're making the changes that we want.
Yeah.
So again, like that.
Well, for us, one thing I want us to never be surface level. You say the big argument. The big argument was you wanted to focus more on guests, and I wanted to make the show more about just me and you and exposing people to what we've been through, to help people overcome their battles, to show people that we ain't perfect. We ain't got it all put together. Because as so many other podcasts, what they've done is they've made it solely based on guests. And I'm like, Josh, the people that listen to us, number one, I want them to build a real connection with us.
Yeah.
I want them to know that what we're telling them is the real. This ain't no highlight reel. Yeah. This is the real. When you listen to this show, you know we done. It's multiple times where we done been about to fight. It's been multiple times, as you guys just heard, we were about to break off the partnerships. It's been multiple times where things were not
seen us about to thump.
Yeah, employees done had to, hey guys, you know, guys, relax. So for us, that was the big thing before we started the podcast. We had a difference. We knew the vision always was in alignment. It was always that we wanted to expose people to the ideas, the struggles, the failures, the strategies, and the people that have gotten us from zeros to millions. But the way of how to get there it was different. Again, Josh wanted to focus on more guests. I'm like, like we could just talk about what we've been through. We've done a couple some great things in business. We've had a lot of failures and successes and stories and lessons that we can teach people through this show. Let's focus on that. And luckily, you know, boy, listen.
So one thing that you said and the point that I want to drive home is if you're in a business partnership with somebody, the most important thing that matters is that your visions are in alignment.
Yes.
Are we after the same thing? Are we chasing the same thing? Are we trying to create the same thing?
Yeah.
Because the reason our partnership works is because our vision is in alignment. We had a lot of growing and things that we had to overcome in order to get here. But the one thing that has always kept us together and working together and chasing is just we're in alignment with the vision.
That's always helped us, because there's been a lot of times, like even with this show, we knew the show was going to happen, but we had to go over a couple bumps for it to get there.
Yeah.
But our vision was the same, expose people to the et cetera, et cetera. So for like Josh said, when you're in a business partnership, you're not going to always agree, because I think we agree way less than we do agree.
Yeah.
People, we need to help people need to understand that we agree way less than we agree way less.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that. People need to understand that once if you guys are in alignment with that vision, the disagreements are going to come. But if you guys truly are in alignment, let's talk about that. Truly in alignment, it won't be no breakup conversations. It won't be none of certain conversations that you and I have had.
Yeah. One, and understanding too that we're twins.
Yeah.
I know everything about you, the way you think, the way you operate, because I've known you our entire life.
Yeah.
And one point I want people to understand is they see us on social media and think we have it all put together. No, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't have it all put together. But again, like Jerem just stated, as I stated, our number one, our vision is in alignment and what it is that we're after. Another thing that I want to talk about when it comes to vision is understanding that we have to meet often to make sure that vision is in alignment.
Yeah.
Because as you go through things in life, as you experience things in life, your wants, your needs, your desires, your vision for your life changes.
Yep.
So we have constant meetings to go over what the vision is, what the goals are, what it is that we're after.
No, definitely. Before we even continue to talk about like how we get the partnership to continue to work, I want to continue to focus on the struggles that we've had to overcome.
Yeah.
You talked about ego. The way that we removed the ego battle was just focusing on the best ideals win. The other issue, another struggle that we had was double working. We used to double work all the time.
Yes.
Have a meeting. Hey, we finna get this done. We both go get it done. We come back to our next meeting. What you did? Dang. And that happens so often.
Break that down a little bit better.
What that means is me and Josh would just sit down and let's just say for the podcast show setup, hey, we need to order these materials. Okay. We both make a list of what we want to get, but we didn't clearly define our roles. Who is going to actually make the order? We sat down and said what we needed, but who's going to make the order? There's been times where we both have done the same task. That didn't happen with the podcast, but just giving people an example where we go and do the same task, we waste time and sometimes money because we both are doing the same thing. So another struggle that we had to get over was that double work. And we had to put roles and responsibilities in place that we know that, okay, you're responsible for this, I'm responsible for this. When we leave this meeting, if I'm responsible for the podcast show, that all falls on me.
Yeah.
If it don't come together, that's on me.
I think let's tell them what that looks like in our business, for our real estate investing business.
Yeah.
We do flips, we do wholesales, we have acquisitions, we have dispo, we have rentals, we have a bunch of different things going on. And one of the things that has helped us grow in our business is, to your point, clear roles and responsibilities.
That's how again, I want to make that very clear. This is the number one way of how you can make sure that nobody, it's not just business partnership, nobody in your organization is double working when you have clear roles and responsibilities, which Josh is going to touch on.
But from a clear roles and responsibility standpoint, in our business, I'm going to use our real estate business as an example. I'm responsible for all of our fixing and flips. Under making sure we buy the house, so we got the financing to do it, making sure we have the crew to do it, the project management, the permits, the paint, the materials, everything regarding flipping a house, I'm responsible for. I have the final say so on that. The pros of us being able to do that is one, from the start, our vision is in alignment. So I have the best vision, or the decisions that I'm making is in alignment with the vision that we set for our company. Number two is, like, to the point you just made, we're not double working.
Yeah.
Joshua is responsible for our flips. So if our flips are doing great, that's on Joshua. If they're doing bad, there's on Joshua.
I need to come and tap that chin like, what's good, bro? Why we doing bad? You absolutely right.
And the same thing for our rentals. You are in charge of our rentals.
Yes.
If we have too many vacancies, Jeremy, what's going on?
Yep.
If
we losing money.
We losing money.
What's going on?
Our property manager sent us a loss to lease report.
Yeah.
We losing $50,000, $60,000 a year in potential rental income. I come to you, Jeremy, what's going on?
Yes. So that definitely was something huge for us, the roles and responsibilities. Where Josh, like, he's just giving you guys an example. When we say roles and responsibility, he's 100% in charge of the flips. So that means if he picked floors that I don't like, I have to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to unfortunately accept some of the bad decisions that he's made with some of these designs in his flips. He's had to deal with some of the bad design choices that he believes are bad when it comes to rentals. Why? Because we sat down. If we want to grow this partnership, if we really want it to work, if we wanted to get better, we have to make sure that we're not double working, and who's ever responsible for it, we let them be responsible for it. We could come in and have some say, because it's a lot of things that's done with our flips that I don't agree with. I let my voice be heard, but I understand that's all it is. I let my voice be heard. The final decision lies on Josh. It lies on me. A lot of stuff with our rentals he don't agree with. He thinks some of the decisions I make are not the best. But at the end of the day, we made a decision. In this partnership, I'm in charge of the rentals. Whatever I say goes. Same thing with the flips. So if you guys are in a business partnership, understand that you're not always going to agree on everything. You need to understand that if your vision is in alignment, who's ever in charge of it, they are in charge of it, and they have the final say, and you need to be okay with that.
One way, let's go a little deeper with that. One way that we are able to have a great business partnership is understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses, because our roles and our responsibilities plays off our strengths and weaknesses. So it's us removing the ego and me understanding that Jerm sells better than me, so he's going to run our sales department. Yeah. Is you understanding that, hey, Josh knows how to manage people better, so when it comes to our flips, he'll be managing the contract, he'll be managing this. When we have team meetings, Josh is the one that's doing more talking, because Jerm's a little bit too direct and our employees can't handle it. Yeah. So let Josh make the delivery. Yeah. And we understand that. So that's one thing that has helped us grow. So if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, understanding if you're in a business partnership with somebody, what are my strengths and weaknesses? What is my partner's strengths and weaknesses? And making the roles in alignment with the strengths and weaknesses that you guys have.
And that created another thought that I had about another struggle. Another reason why business partnership wasn't working was we didn't have clear accountability. We mean it like that. Roles and responsibilities is one thing, but accountability, meaning, yes, Josh is responsible for flips. He makes the final decision. But what standard is he being held to? How many flips should we be doing per month? How much money should we be making on every flip? What should we be paying people? Et cetera, et cetera. We had to create. That was another struggle, because when we got clear on the roles and responsibilities, things started to get better. We knew that what you were responsible for, that's what you're responsible for. What I was responsible for is what I'm responsible for. But we knew that there was something that was still missing. And what was missing was the accountability piece. Because for me, yeah, I'm in charge of rentals. If I'm in charge of rentals and my life is in shambles, that means that could affect not only my income, but Josh's income as well. that can affect us so much because of my life. So what we had to do was say, you know what? Life happens, things happen, but we still need to operate this business.
Yeah.
We still need to keep going. So what we do? Accountability. We know for our rental, we know for our rentals, how many vacancies can we have at one time? How much money do we need to allocate? What does the budget need to be? What does this need to be? For Josh, for every flip, you make the decisions whether we gonna wholesale this deal, whether we gonna fix this deal, or whether we gonna keep it as a rental. If we don't make a certain amount of money on our flips, I'm coming to you, my boy, because I need to hold you accountable just to make sure that you just ain't relaxing and coasting. Because at the end of the day, our visions are aligned. We're growing. Yeah. We need to make money.
Yeah.
And my money is based off your decision sometimes. So I have a say on that.
That's a great point. That is a great point. Like you said, we were growing, we were maturing, but accountability is what really took us to the next level.
Yeah.
Once we start holding each other accountable, that's when we went to the next level. We made more money. We started hitting the goals that we set for ourselves. So if you're watching this and you don't have a clear accountabilities for your partners, you don't have clear KPIs in your business for your partners, guys, sit down and do yourself a favor, do your business a favor, because that was a huge breaking point. A huge point for us to really start going in the direction of where we wanted to go.
For sure. So any other struggles that you could think about that we had to overcome? We talked about ego and meaning the best idea wins. We talked about double working and creating clear roles and responsibility. We talked about creating accountability to make sure that the person is actually working and doing what they need to do. Are there any other struggles that we may have missed that we need to touch on?
I think too, one thing is one struggle that we had that we didn't know we had was in my marriage. For you guys that don't know, I was married before and now I'm divorced. But my marriage, the point I want to make is who your business partner has relations with at home affects the business. Who your business partner has at home, who they sleep with next to at home, has a negative or a positive effect on your business.
Yep.
So for me, when I was going through what I was going through when it came to my marriage, the stresses and the struggles with my marriage, that affected our business.
Yeah, for sure.
That affected our business. It was several days I came here and I was not working because I'm worried or stressed about what's going on at home. Yeah. There were several days I'm working and my ex, she would call me and then me and her would get into a dispute about something and that would just ruin my day and kill my day and I couldn't be productive.
Yeah. And that would affect my income too.
Yeah.
That would affect my income.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys need to understand that when you get into business and a partnership with somebody, you getting into you're taking on it's a real marriage because you're taking on. You think about it, they're in-laws. Yep. You have in-laws, and the way that I look at in-laws in business is their spouse, their kids, their family. Those are kind of like your in-laws as well, and people need to understand that because when you was going through your divorce, it was days where you weren't really working. Let me go and focus on this divorce. Let me get past this. For us. Luckily, as your brother, I was able to, you know what, he's going through something. And because of the experience when you first had Ava, I was a lot more sensitive to that situation. But if you think about it, if I wasn't your brother, I could have easily came to you and said, yo, you ain't upholding your end of the deal. You ain't doing what you got to do because I understand what's going on in your life. But in my life, you're affecting my income. You're affecting my livelihood. Yeah. So that's something that people need to understand. When you go into business with somebody, it's really... You gonna have some in-laws, and that's how they live their life, who they live their life with, and what they do in their life. It's going to be a part of your life, so you need to make sure you understand that.
One of the best things that you can do before you go into business partnership with somebody is you need to date that person. Business is just like getting into a relationship with someone. You need to understand what that person likes or dislikes are. You need to understand what are these person's habits. What are the habits that this person has that I don't like? What are the habits this person has that I do like? What is their belief system? Right? How were they raised? Mm-hmm. All of those things matter when you going into a business partnership because those are the things that can affect that business partnership. So before you jump off the porch and just get in a partnership with somebody, you need to first date that person.
So talking about getting into partnerships, what are some things that you think? What are some things that you think that we've done well or we do well that makes our partnership be the way that it is?
You mean for you and I?
Yes. Number one, it's clear. we leave all of our disputes at the office.
Yes.
You had to learn that.
Yep.
We leave all of our disputes at the office. If you're in a partnership, guys, understand that your disputes needs to be left in the office and doesn't need to be carried outside of the office, because you have a life outside of business. And I think me and you both understand that. Some people be like, oh, business is my life. Business. I got kids.
Yeah.
Like I that's part of my life.
Yeah.
I go out and I party. That's part of my life.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm always focusing on this business, which we always focus on it, but if I'm always focused on the problems in this business, how does that translate to my life? And we've seen it. When we've allowed business to translate in our life, our at home became trash. And that became worse in business. It made the business worse. Because when you're at home ain't good, you bring that to the office and then you just got a whole big cluster mess of stuff. So
that was a really great point. Really, really great point that you just made. And
what else do we? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Now, what else do we do to make the partnership work that you could think about? Aside, what do we do to make the business partnership?
I think
work?
Again, as I mentioned earlier, we sit down and we understand. Okay, every quarter, what is the vision? Are we still in alignment there?
Yeah.
What is the goals? Are we still in alignment there? Do we still feel, even though we have clear roles and responsibilities? Okay, every quarter we review and say, boom, if we have a big project going on for something that Germs are involved in, what can I help you with? What can I support you with? Just because it's your role and your responsibility don't mean that I can step in and help. Because if we after the same goal, we after the same thing, if our vision is the same thing, it don't matter who accomplished it. Let's just get it done.
Story time. So for the podcast, so this is Germ. The podcast was 100% my responsibility. I get the buck stops with me. It starts in it. I make all of the final decisions about the podcast, from the topics to everything that you see happening here. I get the final decision on that because in our partnership, we've decided. We're doing more flips. We're doing more projects. Josh is running the education company. The podcast is on me. If you know the story of how this came together, we launched this podcast in under 21 days, really 14. Josh went out of town. So we launched this and we built out the studio. We shot 5 episodes. We brought all of the stuff in literally less than 14 days. Yes, that's my responsibility. And it was a huge responsibility on me, but if you guys are really in alignment, just because it's not your job don't mean you can't step in and help. Because there was a lot of times where, hey, Josh, I need help with this. Or, Jerm, what you need help with? Anything that I can do to make things better. So just because it's somebody's role and responsibility and they're responsible for it, if you know something needs to happen and you see your partner struggling with it, don't just let them sit there and drown.
Yeah.
Throw a little life raft out there for them boys to reel them back in.
Facts.
Because that's something, because if without your help in bringing this together, because I was going crazy. I was going crazy. So I wanted to make sure people understand, just because it's your role, that don't mean, it's not your role. That don't mean you can't help the other person.
And then another thing too, you don't want to be in partnership with somebody that you're always trying to one up. I don't one up you. You don't one up me. It ain't, I came up with this idea. We used to be like that when we first started. I did this. I did this. It ain't, we don't care about who did it. Now, hey, who came up with this idea? We did.
We did, yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
And it's understanding that we remove the ego. We remove the, I need that validation. Nah. We know what's going on here. We know how we operate. We know what's happening behind the scenes. Yeah. So it's always understanding that, like, I don't need the pat on the back or the applause. Neither do you. It's just what's the best thing for what is the best thing for what it is that we're trying to do, and that's it.
That was really good. And it's not one-upping people.
Yeah.
Because you talking about a struggle? That was a big struggle. Now that's my idea. I came up with that.
Yep.
We used to have arguments about who idea was. Like, who cares? Y'all both gonna make money from it. Who cares?
Yes.
We really used to have, you think about it, that's a huge struggle we used to have.
That's why I'm sitting here as you talking, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, we used to do that bad. And that stops us from growing. That stops us from putting that energy and our focus on things that's going to help grow this business, that's going to help grow this partnership.
Yes.
So stop. If you're listening to this and you have a partner, stop. And if this is a habit that you have, or even something that your partner doesn't know that you have, stop it.
Yes.
That's not serving you. It's not serving your partnership. It's not helping you grow. We hear so often that so many partnerships go south because of many different reasons, but that one is one of the biggest. It's just, he wasn't holding up his end of the bargain. Well, did you help him?
Yeah.
Did you support them?
Yeah. But one way to hold up your end of the bargain is one thing that is meetings.
Yeah.
That's one way to hold up your end of the bargain, is meetings. To make sure that the other person is doing what they got to do. Because you touched on it. You said we only meet quarterly. No, we meet quarterly. We meet yearly. We meet quarterly, and for sure we're meeting weekly. Yeah. And then we have conversations throughout the day about certain things. But in those meetings, and when you're having a business, when you have a partnership, and it's just you guys in the room, understand that you need to make best use of that time in the room. Because we've been having meetings for a long time. Yeah. But those meetings was trash. Come in unprepared. Come in and not really be in the meetings. Be on the phone. Doing things that we thought was okay because it's just me and you in the room. And then we started to realize when we started getting around other people and we see how and we started partnering with other people, you start realizing like we need to make the best use of this time. We need to get stuff done. Mm-hmm. So now in our meetings, we come in and we have an agenda. Mm-hmm. It starts on time, it ends on time. It may go over from time to time if we having a heated discussion or we're really trying to figure out something. But just our meetings and how we do hold meetings has gotten better because now we got an agenda. Yeah. We know when we come in, we ain't trying to figure out. Because you think about it, before we had an agenda, today we're going to talk about, you saw what happened on the gram? And and in the whole conversation, y'all ain't doing no work. We wasn't getting nothing done.
Facts.
And then when we put that agenda together, it's like, you know what? Okay, we coming in, we sticking to this. And another thing that we do so well, we get off topic. No, this ain't on the agenda. Yeah. This ain't what we covered. Yeah. We can put that in the parking lot. We can talk about it next time. We can talk about it another time. So just having these meetings and coming in and being intentional, having an agenda, being prepared. Because one of the things we talk about every single week in all of our meetings is issues. Yeah. What issues are you having in your department? For Fix and Flip Wholesale, Josh, what issues are you having? For the podcast, what issues are you having? One of the issues that we're having right now for the podcast we talk about is how to get more listeners. Yeah. We're averaging a couple hundred listeners right now, and we want to obviously get way more listeners. That's one of the issues we talked about. We came up with some ideas. Why? Because in the meeting I came prepared. Here's my issue. Yeah. Where's the issue coming from? How do you know you're having this issue? We break it down, and then we get better, and then we create a solution, and now we on the go. Yeah.
One thing I want to say is, y'all, Jerm finally giving us some value. He finally giving us some game.
Cause you said
you feel me? I could sit on the bench, or I could take a breather. You know what I'm saying? I could take 5 minutes out of the game. No, so y'all give it up for Jerm.
Y'all give me my hand clap.
He finally came prepared. Like that boy okay.
Hey, I give you that one. I give you that one. But no, this was so near and dear to me because I know the struggles that we had to overcome and the battles and the wars that we had to fight to get to having a what I think is finally a good partnership. Yeah. You think about it, we've been in business since we were 8 years old, taking out our neighbors' trash cans to doing from everything else. And our partnership was never good because of all the things that we've had to overcome. And this was near and dear to me and why I wanted to talk about the struggles we had to overcome, what we do to make our partnership work so people can know. Number one, we ain't perfect. Yeah. We say that all the time. We ain't perfect. We still figuring this out. But I want to give people things that they need to think about when they go and do partnerships, because for the longest we were totally against, because of our own struggles, we were against partnerships with other people. Because of me and your own internal struggles, we say, we don't want no partners. We don't want to do this. Now realizing business partnerships are great if they're done right. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely something that I want to touch on today. So it was near and dear to me.
No, that really, really good, really good. Anything else you want to discuss? Because I got one more thing that I want to talk about. But
just one other thing that makes our partnership work is operating agreement.
Yeah. That was what I just wrote down.
Operating agreement. That makes it work. The reason why it makes it work is because, number one, God forbid, if something ever happens, if we ever get to that point where we got to, or we thought about stopping the partnership, we already know how to end the partnership. Yeah. It ain't no bad divorce, because we know we already laid it out.
We got so what I hear you say, for y'all that don't know what an operating agreement is, it's basically like a prenup.
Yes.
It's basically like a prenup.
Yes. What a prenup is to a marriage, an operating agreement is to a business, to a certain extent.
Yes.
Because the prenup, depending on how you write it, for your operating agreement, it talks about who's responsible for what, how are decisions made, what happens if another person passes away? What happens if another person becomes incapacitated? What do you got to do? Operating agreement outlines all of that. So God forbid if conflict comes, now, and I mean not say God forbid because the conflict is going to come. It's just, it happens in any partnership. When the conflict comes, if you don't know how to deal with it and resolve it, your operating agreement has already done that for you. Having that has saved us so many times.
I'm gonna give you what I think is an even better analogy. The operating agreement is the Bible on how we're gonna operate our business. It tells us exactly how we're going to operate our business. What's right, what's wrong, who's responsible for what, who does what happens if you're in disagreement with somebody, who can sign on behalf of the company, who can open up bank accounts, who can guarantee things on the company,
how much money we gonna make,
how much money we gonna make, so on and so. The operating agreement tells you all of those things. So, anything else that you think we didn't touch on about?
Nah, we gave them the struggles, which was ego, removing the ego, saying the best ideas win. Another struggle, double working, creating accountability. And then just telling people how our partnership works. I think this was definitely another one for the books.
Yeah.
This is something that somebody can leave. After listening to this, somebody should be able to really sit down and start to think about, okay, if I have a current partnership right now, how can we, like, this needs to be an episode. If you have a partnership and your partnership is not in alignment, you guys need to first sit down and are our visions in alignment? Do we both want the same thing? Because so often we used to think we wanted the same thing and we didn't. So now after listening to this, you need to go to your partner. Number one, what is our vision? Is our vision in alignment? Then number two, if we don't have clear roles and responsibility, what is this? Number three, what do we want in our operating agreement, and what is the date that we gonna get it done? Because so often, just like in our partnership, we gonna do it, we gonna do it, we gonna do it. If no date is put in and nobody's made responsible for it, it never gets done.
Yeah.
So I think this was a great episode for sure.
No, for sure, man, for sure. One the final point, some things that I was writing down is, if you're in partnership with somebody, or if you're looking to get in partnership, key is, one, you want to date that person. Understand who you're getting into partnership with. What are their belief systems? Who are their partner at home? How do they view business? How do they have the experiences? What are their strengths and weaknesses? Another thing is, point you just touched on, is the vision. Are we in alignment with the vision? Right? How are we after the same thing? Operating agreement, guys. It's the Bible on how you run how to run your business. A big thing that you stated earlier was we remove the ego. Guys, remove the ego. In this in our partnership, there's no room for ego. Like, we've had to grow and mature to get there. But I want to, give a pat on the back to you for not giving. We'll say thank you for not giving up on me. You know what I'm saying? Because there were several times in this partnership where you could have just gave up and you'd be like, man, forget this. Josh got too much going on, this, that, and the third. So, like, not only are we brothers, but we really are great at this business partnership because we are intentional about it. And we understand that vision is in alignment. And there is a point, at least for me, like, I feel like I don't want to do business without Germ, because I know the value that Germ brings to me, the value that Germ brings to the business, the things that I'm weak at, Germ is strong in.
Yeah. No, well, thank you. Wow. That's touching right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the star player, like I always do, I got to come in and save us in overtime.
Hey, listen, I don't know why saving us, but nah, man, that was truly touching. For me, I feel the same, where anything I do in business, I definitely want you involved, because you are that level head that I need, because you know me, like,
be on go for no reason. Big mad shorty. Big mad shorty.
And you come in and you definitely give me strength while I'm weak. But guys, man, this was definitely something I'm super happy about.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this conversation.
Facts.
I know that a lot of people are going to get some breakthroughs, and always, guys, we have our gentleman's agreement. Guys, we put a lot of time and energy and effort into producing these shows, putting this content out for you guys. We ask that in return that you go, you like, you subscribe on YouTube, you subscribe to our page, leave a comment, leave a review, and share this episode and any other episode with somebody that needs to be exposed in order for them to expand in their life.
You said it all, man. So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. German, I really love sitting down, having these conversations. Help us grow as partners, help us grow as brothers, and help us grow in every area of our life. So just do us a favor. I don't do that gentleman's agreement. If you got value, man, make sure you guys share this with somebody, expose somebody else to this impactful conversation. And then also, man, just do us a favor. Make sure you guys like, share, leave us a review. So thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Expose and expand. Peace.